It's Wednesday the 29th of March and this morning I've already managed to get some compost onto the raised bed that I cleared yesterday, and although the weather's not terribly nice out there, it's cloudy, it's very overcast, and it rained a lot yesterday. It isn't actually raining at the moment, so it's a good time to just crack on with a few things outside. Well, that's definitely looking ready for small plants and seeds to be put into it. From the barn I've just pulled the potato sack from the potatoes that we grew last year. Now, last year we had organic seed potatoes, and that's what's left of the potatoes from last year, and I'm going to use these as my seed potatoes this year. There we go, those are in, and there was left for 2 rows, and I also had some potatoes in the kitchen that had grown eyes on them, and because I knew they'd grown eyes, I just left them to grow them in the dark, which isn't ideal. If you're chitting potatoes, you should do it in the light so you don't get long spindly eyes, which is what we've got here, but they'll be okay, they'll be fine. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to cover this whole bed in weed suppressing membrane, which allows water to go through, and what will happen is, as the plants grow, I'll cut a little slit in the weed suppressing membrane where the plants are, and then they'll grow above the ground. There'll be no need to earth up because enough light will be excluded by the membrane, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, at the end of the growing season I'll be able to roll back the weed suppressing membrane and the crop should be pretty much on the surface. And here are some potatoes neatly growing in the compost bin. They will be from potato peelings, which I don't usually put into my compost, but I obviously have in that lot. And the reason I don't is because they grow like mad in the compost. But that makes me think it's okay just to plant potatoes that have been left over in the kitchen into my garden, and that they should grow fine. I've cut the membrane to the length and width that I need, and I'm just going to place it over, and then I'm going to pin it down with some metal staples. They're big garden staples. So I put one in each corner to hold it in place, which gives me a chance to go down along each side and peg it down there as well. This certainly can't be described as visually attractive gardening. However, it is quite a large plot for me to deal with, and I have to make some compromises somewhere. I don't really like using loads of plastic in the garden, but there is that compromise to be made, and I have neither the time nor the energy, and probably not the strength, to attend to all of the garden all of the time. So this is an easy option in terms of minimising the work for me, and so this is the one I'm going to choose. Now that's all pinned down, I'm quite pleased with the results. I might cut a couple more pegs, metal staple things, and pop them in down the sides, but I'm fairly sure that that will stand up against the wind. It will let the water through, and now I'm just hoping that the potatoes grow nicely. On my garden plan I'd elected to put some beetroot into the bed with the potatoes. However, as I put the plastic covering over it, that won't work, so I need to find a different place to put them. So I'm going to pop at least one row or one section of beetroot in here, because Mr. J and I have discovered we absolutely love beetroot. In fact, we like beetroot roasted, which makes it very sweet and very lovely. However, in this bed I have noticed this little seedling has self-sown itself. This is a red orich, which I really like. They're reasonably tall plants. They're probably, I think they got to about waist high when they went to seed last year. But the young leaves can be used as a spinach alternative. They taste a little bit spinachy, but they're just to be able to add colour into things is really lovely. So I'm going to lift this and go and very carefully transplant it into the food forest before it actually starts raining today, which I think it will do imminently. I'm going to just finish off this corner of path over this side So I've just very roughly laid down some weed suppressing membrane. I'd already brought a pile of wood chippings over. It's not very clear, but there's a pile here. So I'm literally just going to move them across to there. That piece of path will be done. And then I can, if there's time and if it doesn't rain, I will finish covering this with feed sacks and get some more composted wood chippings onto it. And then that's that bed ready as well. And just as I was putting the last of the wood chippings onto that pathway, the heavens opened and it's absolutely pouring, but with really fine rain. And usually it doesn't bother me. I can just put a coat on and carry on in that kind of rain, because although you get wet, you get very wet, it's not really the end of the world. But I have a funny feeling I'm threatening with a cold, and as it's not all that long since I had my last one, I think I'm probably going to stay dry and look after myself instead. If you're enjoying my vlogs, please leave a comment, like the video, and of course don't forget to subscribe.